Well, for more insight into what Lagarde would bring to the job, I spoke with Jeremie Cohen-Setton in Paris. He's a research fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics, and he says Lagarde has already shown she can handle difficult situations.
Well, I think she brings her experience as a crisis fighter. That's what she's been doing at the IMF for 8 years now. So that's an important thing that she brings to the table. I think she's also bringing those negotiating skills. I think she's very much gifted to push European leaders when there is a need to push them into doing more. And so I think that's going to be an important part of our job.
Now, we know that Lagarde doesn't have technical expertise as a central banker like her predecessors, and obviously we had Draghi navigate the bloc through the financial crisis. So overall, how is her appointment being received by other central bankers?
I think her appointment is well received in the community. Look, she had the same problem of lack of experience before taking her current position as managing director for the IMF. And she has proven that she was able to be an effective leader in that context, that she was able to rely on the expertise of her staff and on the advice of the people around her that she trusts. Now, the question I think for her is, and it's a difficult question, is that the executive board, by the end of this year, might only have one economist left with a deep understanding of financial markets and central banking. So, that would be an issue for her in the future, because if you remember the tenure of Mario Draghi, it's not just that he had intellectual leadership, is that he was able, with the help of the executive board, to really convince his peers on the governing council to take a specific decision with a specific amount at a specific time. That is something he could do with the help of those members of the board.
So is there a concern that Lagarde perhaps wouldn't be as adept when it comes to navigating the bloc through another financial crisis, being that she doesn't have that same technical expertise?
No, I think she has obviously the expertise of navigating financial crisis. She was finance minister for 4 years in France during the start of the Great Recession, and then obviously she has all that experience of her tenure at the IMF. So I think she has that experience as a crisis fighter. I think what is more tricky for her is to convince the board that a specific decision is the one that is needed.
Now, she's certainly a trailblazer. The title first woman to ever ... seems to apply to her in a lot of different ways. We saw that when she was at the global law firm Baker & McKenzie. She was chairing there, obviously serving as the first female finance minister of a G7 country with France, and then, of course, being the first woman to ever head the International Monetary Fund. As you look at her specific leadership style, what do you think has allowed her to really thrive in these extremely powerful roles?
Well, I think she has impressed many of us in the economic community over the years. I remember actually when she was nominated as a finance minister back in 2008, if I remember correctly, and we knew very little about her, and she has proven both during and anytime I've come across her, I was very impressed by her intellectual openness and ability, and she has also proven to be a very gifted politician. So I think those two skills is what has made her so popular in this community.
And we certainly saw that come in handy during her time as IMF chief. From her experience and from her time at the IMF, do we have any indication about how she'll navigate the European bloc's relationship with China?
So I think for her, what is clear is that the weaponizing of the U.S. dollar by the current administration is a central issue. It's a central problem. So I think for that reason, it's clear that as the head of the European Central Bank, there is a need for not only developing the euro as an international currency, but also of developing relationships with other central banks, so that basically, if there is a need to circumvent, using the U.S. dollars for some transaction, that can be done.
Now, thanks to Jeremie Cohen-Setton, research fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics.